So this is the book that changed my life path. I didn't expect one book to push me towards a PhD as much as this one did, thinking I was going to go to med school my entire life, but here's how it did. And so I'll start a little bit with my backstory, and then I'll move into what this book is actually about, so then you can get a basis as to what actually changed my life trajectory. And then I'll get into the transformation itself, and then finally some key lessons and reflections. So initially when I got to college, I thought I wanted to do a MD, as I'm sure a lot of people do. I'm not sure how many people actually go into college thinking that they just want to do a PhD by itself. But once I actually started to explore my interests a little bit more, I realized that maybe a PhD is something that I do want to explore. And then as time went by, I thought maybe an MD PhD is something that I want to do, and it's still something that I still vaguely consider. And once I started spending some time thinking for myself and listening to some tech CEOs, I realized that the thing that actually excites me is building the future. And yeah, for sure, medicine is building the future. I felt like there was something missing in terms of what I actually want to spend my time doing. And I honestly kind of dreaded clinical experience. So when I took this trip out to Utah with some of my friends, I was reading Elon Musk's biography by Isaac Walterson, and I just randomly flipped to the back and I saw that he also wrote a biography of Jennifer Doudna, and I didn't know who Jennifer Doudna was at the time, but I was just really interested in influential people that have created revolutions, and to think that someone has created a revolution impactful enough in science that Isaac Walterson will write about it, I immediately just picked up Amazon and ordered the book. So this book is less of a textbook and more of like a thriller between some competition in order to see who can edit the human genome first. And once they did do it, it raised a lot of ethical questions in terms of how we manipulate humans at its most basic fundamental level, the DNA. And honestly, I think the book can explain it a little bit better than I can. It says, when Jennifer Doudna was in 6th grade, she came home one day to find a paperback, The Double Helix, on her bed. She came enthralled by the intense drama behind the competition to discover the building blocks of life. Even though her high school counselor told her that girls didn't become scientists, she decided she would. Driven by the passion to understand how nature works, Doudna and her collaborators invented a tool that will transform the human race, a tool that can edit DNA. Known as CRISPR, it opened a brave new world of medical miracles and moral questions, hastening our transition to the next great innovation revolution. Doudna became a leader in wrestling with CRISPR's moral issues, and with her collaborator Emmanuel, won the Nobel Prize in 2020. Her story is a thrilling detective tale that involves the most profound wonders of nature, from the origins of life to the future of our species. And as I was saying earlier, I increasingly listened to Elon Musk and Sam Altman, and honestly, I was inspired not by their personality or what their political affiliations are, but the fact that they are literally building the future. OpenAI has changed everyone's life. The companies that Elon Musk, Neuralink, SpaceX, and the list goes on, they're literally changing the world. And to think that there is some sort of equivalent in the world of science, which I'm interested in, it honestly made me start thinking. And in terms of what I do my PhD in, I also wanted to be on the bleeding edge of what can change the human race. And honestly, I think that's what grabs me the most about CRISPR and immunotherapy. I feel like what would make me excited to get out of bed in the morning is the fact that you can discover and innovate every single day with all of your time. And I think that's the key difference between medicine and research, is you can definitely do that in medicine, but in research you're doing that with all of your time. And I really like the day-to-day activities of research. I have a decent amount of research experience. And I know it's not discovering every single day, but what I do like is that it keeps me thinking about what could be next. And I just don't envision that as much in terms of what medicine is. And to think about what is really on the forefront of the human race, I think it's CRISPR. If I was interested in tech, I would want to work at OpenAI. If I was interested in mechanical engineering, I would want to work at SpaceX, because I feel like these are on the absolute bleeding edge of humanity. But since I'm in science, I want to work in CRISPR since that seems to be like some sort of equivalent. And this is definitely subject to change. I still have a lot of exploring to do before my PhD, and that's honestly the exciting thing for me. And honestly, the biggest takeaway for me is how exciting transformation can be. Freshman and sophomore year, I thought I was going to do pre-med. I joined a research lab for the sake of that. I was planning to do a lot of clinical experience, but it didn't really excite me as much. And then come junior year, I'm thinking PhD a little bit more, and honestly that excites me a little bit more. I know I'll spend all my time learning in the future and discovering and innovating. I know not on the day-to-day discovering, but just the process excites me. And now I've quit sprint football, and I picked up YouTube, and I went to go all in on research and pick up a minor in AI. And honestly, this sort of transformation and doing reflective work in terms of what I actually want to spend my time doing is honestly something that I want to do more of, because if I've only done a marginal amount of it and I've gotten this much out of it, I can only imagine what it can be like to spend so much more time thinking about what I actually want to do. And this is definitely not an original idea. Naval says it in the Almanac of Naval. He says before you even decide how hard to work or who to work with is what you want to work on. What you want to work on is the most important thing. And he even describes that the magnitude in which the decision is you should spend a proportional amount of time doing it.